15 minutes. I don't think I've ever had to do something in 15-minute increments in a long, long time. But hey, welcome. This is Charles Banks. This is kind of a new generational thing. I'm going to be sharing everything there is to know about the Chronicles of Gartrek Spinks that will be coming out soon. And for whatever reason, Spreaker's not letting me connect to my YouTube channel and all that good sort of stuff. It is what it is. But frankly, it's just sad. So stick back, relax, and get ready to dive in to the Chronicles. Okay, the Chronicles of Gartrek Spinks. The creepy music just, it just kind of gets to me every time. But it is what it is. I've been a podcaster for a long, long time. I chose not to renew my Spreaker subscription a couple of years ago due to the pricing. And who knows? Maybe I'll get back on this podcast thing, or phase, or however you want to say it, here in a few months. But for now, I think I'm going to go with these little 15-minute increments and just kind of move on from there. Anyway, the Chronicles of Gartrek Spinks, folks, is going to be coming out. I would say at least by the end of the summer. So we're talking about either a late summer, early fall of something that's kind of come to my to my attention. Something I've always wanted to write. And something that I actually started out writing as a kid. I wrote about a few characters. Gartrek Spinks happened to be one of them. He was actually a Dungeons and Dragons, character. Now, I'm sure there's people out there saying, "Oh my God, Dungeons and Dragons, you're going to go to hell." No, you know what? I'm a Christian, and I'll throw that out there right away. But this is something that I think is going to blow people away in many regards. Now, a lot of people love X-Men, Star Wars, the Marvel comics, all that sort of stuff, DC. It's all interesting, and you know what? It's something that that I will discuss, periodically, on the Chronicles of Gartrek Spinks show here. But you know what? For now, let's talk about what I have coming up. And frankly, it's really interesting. And this all stems from kind of my past experiences growing up on Star Wars, growing up on Star Trek, all of those sorts of things. And the reason it's so important to me is because I've been such an ardent fan for so long with all of these sci-fi picks and all that sort of stuff. J.J. Abrams, hey, George Lucas, all of those individuals. It makes me want to dive in. I've written 11 books on spirituality, politics, religion, the paranormal, and all of that sort of stuff. I've done the paranormal podcasting for several years here, and this is something new. This is something stepping outside. This is kind of me getting into the geek zone, and I'm pretty excited about that. The geek zone. Anyway, Gartrek Spinks. Who is he? Where's he from? This guy, Gartrek Spinks, stems from a prior, entity that used to be human, or that thought that he was human, and then all of a sudden, his father, Chaz Anthony, is taken out, through the portals, through the void, and we'll talk a little bit about that, in coming up episodes. But this Chronicles of Gartrek Spinks really is about him trying to find his father, in the darkness, in the void. There are several characters involved, but we'll just touch base on Gartrex here tonight. His home planet is in the Pleiades star cluster, Balfar. Balfar actually is one of these planets that is somewhat Earth-like, but in many shapes of existence, it's not quite. We look at this star cluster, this Pleiades star cluster that's known as the Seven Sisters or M45. It is visible from Earth, which makes this even more interesting. And again, we'll talk about CERN, a little bit later. But who is Gartrex? Gartrex Sphinx is an enormous half-human, half-elven species, again, from the planet Balfour. And the book will dive in how he got there in the first place. But he actually started off on Earth. And again, we'll get there. Weighing 248 pounds and a staggering 6 foot 7 inches tall, this man is one brutal character and fighter in the realm of Balfour and throughout the universe. Gartrex is one of the only remaining species from Balfour, which is in the outer realm planet in the Pleiadian star systems. Originally from Earth, he was taken from the Earth during the purges and the class wars. And the class wars, again, is another thing, that I'll discuss. He would be freed by his mother and father. And his father happened to be Chaz Anthony, and again, we'll get into Chaz Anthony a little bit later. And I'm not gonna give you all the Easter eggs because I want you to be able to get excited about this book, get excited about this transition, something that truly is remarkably out of this world and very relatable. His personality is full of love, but has fits of rage. A very reliable adversary in battle. Gartrex prefers solitude, alone and away from others. Sometimes appears to be uncaring or unrealistic in his relationship with others. Was taken from parents in his early adult years during the purges. Has limited interest in the sexual desires in his human bloodline. And has a half-human, half-elven sister and a full-blooded human sister that we will discuss a little bit later. But anyway, again, the Chronicles of Gartrex Sphinx, the Chronicles of Balfour, this is something that I've created, Charles Banks. And just as happy as I'll say it right now, on this Friday, May 10th, 2019, this is my idea. This is an Easter egg that I wanted to give to the world. But anyway, here's a teaser of it. Here's a teaser at the end. Or is it the beginning? Or is it in the middle? I'm not going to tell you right now. In the moment, Gartrex grasps his saber, pointing downward on the metallic surface. His right palm soaked with the ash and dust laying gently across his face. Sweat protruding down his left cheek and tears in his eyes as he contemplates what has been done. Pain, agony, and hate catapults him into a devastating sense of exile. The gods seem to shake as what was left of the Centauri system lays motionless in the vast crevices of space. Yes, Proxima Centauri. And I got to throw this out there. Proxima Centauri. I had a wonderful earth science teacher that I had. His name was Russ Miller, and I loved this guy. I idolized this guy. And you know what? Later, I was going to be a science teacher, and I didn't do it because I had so many political science classes under my belt. But this guy I really looked up to. And one of the very first assignments, my freshman year, Earth Science, there in Centerville, Iowa, CHS, Go Big Reds, right? But now it's the Go Hawks because I'm not there anymore. I'm teaching and coaching in another place. But, looking back, the culmination of the first semester, we had to create a science project that would be realistic, that us leaving from Earth would reach Alpha Centauri and, basically settle there as humans. Well, Russ may have passed away, but he's still there. He's still there, folks. And I'm going to draw in the Chronicles of Gartrex Sphinx. And you know what? There's going to be a human colony on the Proxima Centauri system. I'm excited. I'm so excited to do this. And you know what? I know that this is going to do some wonderful things out there. And people are going to be excited to hear these Easter eggs, as well as my take on a lot of the sci-fi things coming down the hatch. But we'll discuss the scientific aspects of, the Chronicles of Gartrex Sphinx. I hope everybody has enjoyed listening to the very first podcast here. Hopefully we'll raise enough funds and we'll get the old Spreaker fired back up. And we will roll with these podcasts. But for now, folks, if only for a minute, just think about this. We are now taking a magical ride into the universe, and it's going to be an exciting ride. Teddy Roosevelt, my favorite president of the United States of all time, was neither a Republican nor Democrat. He was a registered Republican. We know that. But Teddy said this, and I'm going to take heed in this quote. Think you can, and you're halfway there. Well, folks, the Chronicles of Gartrek Spinks is coming, and it's gonna be pretty good. And you know what? I'm happy to share it with the world. Good night, everybody.